I'm Troy Kirby with the Journal of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater with a quick look at the 2021 Washington State Legislative Session. On Thursday, January 28th, the Senate Labor, Commerce, and Tribal Affairs Committee gave Senate Bill 5172 a public hearing. The legislation would cap retroactive overtime claims in exceptional cases.
This is basically just a matter of fairness. As with the dairy workers or the dairy farmers, they operated the last 3 years under the laws that were there and the interpretation of those laws. They did everything that they knew they were supposed to do, and they did it fairly and correctly and honestly and met all those standards. And now because there's been an interpretation, they're saying, well, now you got to go back 3 years and pay overtime pay. That's not fair. That's not equitable. It just seemed to be very unjust to me because nobody knew it.
The issue raised by this bill is an issue that will be addressed in our ongoing court case. The court that decides this issue will use the already well-established standard that includes whether the decision would produce a substantially inequitable result. So we should let the courts do their job and decide this issue.
In the past month, at least 25 lawsuits have been filed against farmers by attorneys attempting to collect 3 years of past overtime that was not owed in the first place. Farmers are now being sued for not breaking the law.
We employ over 35 people on our farm, and we are not opposed to overtime. We just want to make that clear. We actually started paying some form of overtime in 2015, and in 2020 we started a 55-hour week because we watched what's going on in California and New York with overtime in agriculture. We urge you to be in favor and pass this bill 5172 because it's not fair that we followed the law all the way through, and now we're supposed to go back and pay almost $1 million of overtime when it was never something that we had to do on our farm.
That while this bill was spurred by a decision affecting agriculture, it also matters in other parts of the business community. So 2 back of the napkin payouts I'd like you to consider. The first is in agriculture, where the average hourly rate is $17 an hour. That would equate to $64,000 a worker for an overtime payout at 3 years. And in a firefighting situation, that would equate to a $71,000 per firefighter payout. In both instances, 30% of that would go to the class action lawyer who filed the lawsuit.
Thank you for watching the Daily Legislative Report by the Journal of Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater, covering the 2021 legislative session.